Okay, we're gonna graph this here polynomial by hand. How many times can it turn?
4.
4 times. I have to now find the zeros. So the first thing I would do is,
Factor out negative x squared.
yes, let's take out negative x squared, and we're left with 15x plus 9. There we go. I have 2 of my answers now. What are 2 of my answers? 0. I get 0 twice from that x squared. So I have 2 of the 5 answers. The other 3 are going to come from this. This has 4 terms. I could try to factor by grouping, but it doesn't work. Right? You can try, but no luck. So I'm going to try some synthetic substitution. I want factors of 9 divided by factors of 1, so that's really just the factors of 9, but it has to be negative because all of these coefficients are positives. So that cuts our list down even further. So we'll try negative 1. Huh? Negative 3 works? Negative 3? Okay. I'm hearing negative 3, so, okay. 3, negative 9. Perfect. Now I have 3 of my 5 answers. 0, 1, 2, and negative 3. And now this is a quadratic and I can solve it. That's just x squared plus 4x plus 3. And that factors into x plus 3, x plus 1. So when I put it all together, I have 0 with a multiplicity of 2. I got negative 3 how many times? Twice. So negative 3 with multiplicity of 2. And I got negative 1. There are my 5 zeros. Make sure you have them all before you start graphing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Step 3 is going to help me figure out where I bounce and where I pass through. I'm going to bounce at negative 3 and at 0. And I know that because the multiplicity is even. And so what's going to happen to negative 1? I'm going to pass through the x-axis at negative 1. And then the only other thing it asks me is to determine the end behavior. So you have an odd exponent with a negative lead coefficient. Show me with your hands. Those of you that are doing this, all right, up with your left and down with your right. So there is my end behavior. So now to make the graph, I'm going to put the dots on the x-axis at 0, negative 3, and 1. The end behavior tells me this is going to go there and this is going to go there. And all I have to do is kind of flesh out what's happening in the middle. I know at negative 3 it's going to bounce, so I know it's going to come back up this way. Eventually it's going to hit back down over here. So I could plug in negative 1. If you want to plug in negative 1 and negative 2, that's fine. Since we have synthetic substitution. Depends how. Do you want to go for the gold? I'd plug in both. Since we can do synthetic substitution so quickly, right? Do you remember? So if I want to plug in negative 2 into this whole thing, do you remember how? You just do synthetic, right? So do your coefficients. Negative 1, negative 7, negative 15, negative 9. Now be careful. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and none. I need 0 placeholders for those last 2. So if I want to plug in a negative 2, I can just do synthetic. And then what's my answer? The answer is whatever the remainder is. That's a 1, negative 2, 4. So when I plug in negative 2 for x, I get out a positive 4. So negative 2 goes all the way up to 4. So it goes quite high. So now if I plug in -1, I'll just see, does it go higher? Does it start to come back down? I don't really know. Oh, sorry. I don't really know what's happening in between here and here. I know eventually it's going to come down a touch, but does it continue to go up and then come down? Is it already? I don't know. So if we plug in -1, we'll see what happens. So you can either do it in your head if you're good. You can do synthetic if you want. I don't care. As long as you have it right. I'll do synthetic. Why not? Oh, wait. What did I mess up? It can't be 0. What did I do wrong? -1, +1. Oh, because I'm a dope. Why didn't anybody tell me that I didn't put the 0 in the right place? I was supposed to put 0 at 0, -3, and at -1, not +1. Oh, that's why I'm plugging in -1, and I'm getting out a remainder of 0, and I'm like, I know it doesn't cross the x-axis at -1. Yes, it does, because I don't know where -1 is, apparently. Oh my gosh. True. Sorry, you're probably all confused, like, what is she doing? Wow. Now, does that make more sense now? Okay, so I got rid of the +1. I should have never had a dotted +1. So the last dot I have is at 0. That's going to go down. I know it's crossing a -1, so now I already plugged in -2, so it's just going to come down. At -1, I'm passing right through, but then I'm going to have to come back to 0. So I should probably plug in -1/2, just again to see, is it a little tiny hump? Does it go way down? I don't really know, so I'm going to plug in -1/2 real quick. You could do it on the calculator. You could do it synthetically if you feel confident enough. You do what you want. I'll do it on calculator. Let's see. I want -1/2. What I do know is I'm expecting a negative number to pop out. And if it's not negative, that doesn't make sense. Aha, -0.78. That's what I got. So it goes to right about there. And there we have it. Does that make sense? Is everything okay? Should we do one more x to the 5th together?
Yes.
Because then it's one less you have to do on your own, right?
You're telling me we have to do all of this.
Well,
That is a lot.
but all the x to the 5ths will be gone. So, which do you prefer, 5 or 4? Gee, I wonder what you're gonna. What?
5.
Yes, of course you would want 5. All right, so 5 looks like a beast, but we're Tantasquins, and this is easy peasy for us. All right, so you know it's going to turn 4 times at most. Now I got to find all these zeros. Whoo, doggies. You can, but it's not really going to save you anything. Because I can't factor this down. You know what I mean? Like I can't factor by grouping. So, lucky me, though, again, factors of the coefficient of the constant divided by a leading coefficient, it's just positive negative 1. So there's not that many choices when I go to do synthetic. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, none. So there's all my coefficients, and let's just plug in 1, see what works. So that's a negative 1, negative 6, negative 6, negative 16, negative 16, negative 26. This is not shaping up. Okay, so positive 1 does not work. At least it didn't for me, unless I messed up. Positive 1? Worked? Oh, I messed up then.
I mean negative 1.
Oh, whew. Okay, negative 1. Let's see. Positive 1, negative 4. Positive 4, negative 6. 6, negative 4. Positive 4, negative 1. Positive 1, 0. All right. So now I know that negative 1 works. I tried positive 1 and it didn't work, so I never have to try it again. This is still an x to the 4th graph, so I still can't even try factor by grouping because I still have 5 terms. So I have to keep going with synthetic. But I don't need to bother plugging in positive 1 again. I'll just try negative 1 again and see if it's a multiple root. It does? All right. Negative 3, positive 3, negative 3, positive 3, negative 1, positive 1, and a 0. Now I'm down to an x to the 3rd. I can try to factor by grouping, but I can already tell it's not going to work. So I got to continue with synthetic until I get all the way down to a quadratic. But I have 2 of my answers so far, and I only need 5. So let's just keep... Oh, I'm close though. Let's plug in negative 1 again. Well, la-dee-da. So, negative 1 has now worked 3 times. Wait. But... Okay, so check this out, though. That's my remainder, so that's gone. That's the constant. That's x to the 1st, x squared, x to the 3rd. So now I have this. Negative x cubed minus 2x squared minus x. So what can I...
That'd be x
I can...
squared.
But that doesn't make...
That one's x squared. The one that we just did. It should be x squared.
Oh, you know why? Because I shouldn't have... I shouldn't have had the remainder as part of this. That's why. I'm so sorry. Because I'm like, 0 doesn't work in this. So, oh, sorry. Sorry, oh my gosh. It's like my first day, right? So, that's a remainder. So, that's gone. See ya. There's my constant. There's my x to the 1st. And there's my x squared. Sorry about that. Negative x squared minus 2x minus 1. Okay. Now I'm going to factor out a negative 1 because it drives me crazy. X squared plus 2x plus 1. And now I can factor x plus 1 and an x plus 1. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You mean to tell me that I get negative 1 with a multiplicity of 5? Holy moly. Yep. So, if I have an odd multiplicity, that means I have to pass through. What is the end behavior like? Show me. Negative leading coefficient with an odd exponent. If you're doing this, you're right. So, the only place this is crossing through is at negative 1. And what it's doing is it's going to come down like this. And then it's going to go down like this. So really what's happening here is it's going to... I'll draw a little bit better. Because it's not a straight line. Otherwise it'd be x to the 1st. It kind of looks a little bit more like this.
Please pardon the interruption. Trayvon McLaren and Courtney Williams, please report to the cafeteria. Trayvon McLaren and Courtney Williams to the cafeteria, please.
So, there you have it. Did you say awesome? You said awesome. I agree. Okay, so now I think we're ready for homework. Let's see. What do we have left? We did the whole first page. You have 4, 6, 3 graphs there, and 2 graphs there.
Please do not make us do all of these.
Yeah, that's just me.
Can we do? No odds.
The odds of what's left, that's only 3.
No balls.
And they're all x to the 4th. I'm going to say let's do the evens of what's left. That's not bad. That's only 4, and I'm giving you 15 minutes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I have to take that test, right? So I